There's something undeniably special about holding a beautiful edition of a book that you love, and for fans of the Kingkiller Chronicle, the Gollancz Emporium editions may just be the ultimate collector's dream, a carefully curated limited edition set that elevates Patrick Rothfuss's already poetic storytelling into something that's truly worth displaying. And the designs of these hold a bunch of small obsessive details and clues, just like what we're used to seeing in Rothfuss's writing style. I mean, honestly, you could even come up with some theories from the small details on some of these books. A while back, I made a video on The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear Gollancz Emporium editions, and these are still my favorite Kingkiller Chronicle editions out there, but at the time, they felt kind of incomplete. And now, with the release of The Slow Regard of Silent Things and The Narrow Road Between Desires in the same matching format, finally, the set is complete. Oh wait, no. There's still something missing. Let's talk about what makes these editions so special and whether they're worth tracking down if you still can. It looks like there is still some copies available for the novellas on their website, so I will have a link in the description. I doubt there's many left though, so make sure to check it out if you're interested. In the video I made a year ago, I went over the small details on each of these covers, and I pointed out the Easter eggs and everything. Today I'm going to be doing the same with the novellas. I'm going to point out all the little obsessive clues on the cover, but I'm not really gonna touch on these two much because I already did that in the previous video. But first, let's talk about the basics. So these editions are limited to 1,000 copies per book. They are signed by Patrick Rothfuss, and they're numbered as well, and they're only available on the Gollancz Emporium website, which is quickly becoming like a secret haven for UK fantasy and speculative fiction readers. I'm Canadian, so you might wonder how I got my hands on these editions. Huge shout out to my friend Connell over in Ireland who shipped these over to me. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to get my hands on these editions, and they are by far my favorite Kingkiller Chronicle editions. Honestly, some of my favorite books on my shelf as well. I know a lot of people prefer the Grim Oak Press editions for the Kingkiller Chronicle. Those ones are way more expensive. I do think they're beautiful as well. They got a lot of like full color artwork inside, which is beautiful. But personally, I still prefer these ones. These ones are way more unique in my opinion. The designs of them, how much care was put into the design and adding all these small details. Everything from the sprayed edges to the end papers to the details on the spine. I just think these are the superior versions in my opinion, and they're much cheaper as well. Though I don't own the Grim Oak Press editions, maybe they're much more impressive in person, but I just like the designs of these ones a lot more. Let me know what you think in the comments. Each volume features a brand new text setting in a demi-hardback format, which is often used for library editions and literary hardback fiction. The typesetting here is elegant and easy on the eyes. It's got generous margins and just the right amount of breathing room. It's a 10 out of 10 when it comes to readability. But where these editions truly shine is in the physical detailing. These were designed by Michaela Alcano, and she's designed a bunch of other beautiful books, and these are no exception. The cover for The Wise Man's Fear matches with the meaning of Caesura, which means to break, to catch, and to fly. Michaela managed to capture that symbolism in this cover perfectly. It's one of my favorite covers because of that. The end papers for each of these in particular are a standout. They feature intricate woodcut style designs that kind of mirror that folklore vibe that Patrick Rothfuss so often channels in his storytelling. And of course we have these beautiful sprayed edges, head and tail bands, and a silk ribbon marker as well. It's those small details, you know, that remind you that you're holding a luxury item. This isn't just your average edition. Now, out of all the books, I feel like the Slow Regard of Silent Things is the most fitting for this kind of presentation because the novella's dreamlike tone and the focus on sensory detail just match beautifully with the nature of this edition. Now, opening this one up here, Before I go over the details of the cover, I just want to show you guys the end paper here. As you can see, it beautifully captures Ari's quiet, sacred routines in the underthing, and we even got the brazen gear over there. And when we slip the dust jacket off, as you can see, we have the brazen gear made of brass as foil stamping on the cover. And we even have a small gear on the sprayed edges as well, and the back end paper is the same as the front. And let's analyze the cover real quick because there's some really interesting details here actually. The most interesting thing to me is that the banner with the title on it seems to be wrapped around what appears to not be a tack piece, but a chess piece. And at first glance, I thought it was a queen, but it makes more sense for it to be a king just without the cross on the top, because this is the Kingkiller Chronicle. And if you look closely, the chess piece is actually kind of worn down, there's cracks running down it, though it still has some gold filigree on it. Now, I think this could represent possibly two things. One, it could hint at Ari being secret royalty of an ancient family line, or even possibly Fae royalty. Ari being a secret princess is kind of a long-running fan theory in the Kingkiller Chronicle fanbase. And two, the more likely thing is that the cracks on the chess piece represent the death of a king, and not any king. The chess piece is red with gold filigree running down it. Now, red and gold are the Gollancz colors and represent the king of Vintas. And in the book, Roderick Gollancz is the king of Vintas, so it could either be his death or it could be the death of whoever is his replacement. But that small detail just makes me really appreciate this design. There also appears to be what I think is a sympathy lamp here, and some type of mortar and pestle for whatever alchemy stuff that Ari is up to. Then we have an apple with a gold leaf, and some mysterious book. I don't know what book this is. It has this kind of the sun ray on it. I don't know what that book is supposed to be, but very interesting, we have a dark candle. Now, likely this is the same candle that Ari made in this novella that she gives to Kvothe in The Wise Man's Fear. Now, this is kind of a spoiler alert, so skip ahead a few seconds if you don't want to know, but it's heavily implied that she actually shapes this candle. Ari is shaping the world according to her will. It's one of the reasons why she worries so much about putting things in their place. Yes, Ari is a shaper. There's a lot of people that have read this novella that still don't notice the significance of what Ari is doing, but yeah, there's a lot going on with Ari. Now, there's also some type of dried fruit in the corner. I thought this was a sinus fruit, but I think it's actually a plum with nutmeg. Yeah, it does look like the nutmeg seeds are the same thing on the cover, which of course represents the plum bob poison that Kvothe was given, and the name plum bob was derived from the taste of plum and often nutmeg, which follows the ingestion of the poison. And as you may remember, throughout the rest of the chronicle, Kvothe often experiences relapses where he can taste plum and nutmeg. And of course, it was Ari who tries to console him after he was poisoned. Now, I'm actually planning a full theory video talking about something in regards to Ari and the poison, which is actually a very crazy theory with quite a bit of evidence to back it up, so let me know if you want to see that theory at some point on the channel this year. And then we have the narrow road between desires. Now, I do have to say that I think, in my opinion, I feel like the narrow road between desires should have been purple and this should have been blue, because that's just what I associate these two novellas with. However, if this one was blue, then we probably wouldn't have that chess piece that's red and gold. And I feel like there was a reason why either Michaela Alcano or Rothfuss, if he had some input on these editions, I think there's a reason why that chess piece is meant to be red and gold. But anyway, let's analyze Bast's novella now. Of course, we have the lightning tree on the cover, and it's surrounded by some books. We have Selim Tincture, which is the alchemy textbook that Kvothe gives to Bast, his student, to study, but Bast finds it very, very boring. And then we have the Book of Secrets. Now, that's really interesting because I feel like that fits more with Ari's book, because that's That's a book that's on her shelf in The Slow Regard of Silent Things. It's also mentioned that Kvothe finds a book of secrets buried deep in the Dead Ledgers section of the archive, and also the Tinker in the story of Jax has a book of secrets. So I do feel like it fits more with the other novella, but I still love to see it. Now, I really don't know for the life of me what this potato is doing here. I don't know what this potato thing is supposed to be. You can let me know in the comments if you know. It doesn't really resemble an emerald stone, so I have no idea. There's even a little B above the letter B, and some type of bird. It's not a sipquick bird, so I'm not sure if the bird has any importance. And of course, a skull of a bird as well. Oh, and maybe this is a bag of emerald stones. We also have talon pipes, which you'll see on the sprayed edges, as well as the spine. And, or sorry, not talon pipes. I've been saying talon pipes. This is bass reed pipes, not the talon pipes. I thought it had the reed pipes on here, but we actually have the lightning tree. Very nice. Then for the end paper, we have this beautiful depiction of Bast looking up at the moon, a pair of boots, and what I assume is the Waystone Inn. And just like with the regular editions of these novellas, the interior artwork is done by Nate Taylor, who's a longtime collaborator with Patrick Rothfuss. So we don't have any new artwork inside, but I've always loved Nate Taylor's art in these novellas, so I don't really think there needs to be any new art anyway. Now, I do have a small critique to talk about here. The Name of the Wind has this really nice thick paper. It's wonderful. The Wise Man's Fear edition, however, it has much thinner paper. Like, it has this kind of crinkly sound. It uses like a thinner, crinkly paper, kind of what you see in a lot of Bibles, and I much prefer the thicker paper. Fortunately, though, the novellas, they do go back to the thick paper, so I don't know what they were doing with the Wise Man's Fear. Maybe they just wanted to cut cost for that one, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, most people aren't going to be reading these anyway. They're kind of more like showpieces. But if you do actually want to read it, it's just something to keep in mind. I just wish there was one more book to round out this collection. And if Rothfuss ever does complete The Doors of Stone, Book 3, I'm really hoping that Gollancz Emporium is going to continue making them in this format, because it would be a tragedy to not have the complete set of these. And with only 1,000 copies printed, I do hope at some point they'll do a reprint, a re-release of these editions, because they're just too beautiful in my opinion. I get it, it's rare, and that's why there's only 1,000 copies, but I wish more people had these editions. For fans of the series, this is probably as good as it gets. It doesn't seem like we're going to be getting a 10th anniversary edition for The Wise Man's Fear. It's kind of past the time now. And while the story of Kvothe remains unfinished, these editions offer a completeness in their own way. They manage to capture the lyricism, the mystery, and the sense that even the smallest details have weight. All things that I love about this series. Are these editions necessary? Absolutely not. These are a beautiful celebration for a series that has meant a lot to many. This is for the readers that have dog-eared their paperbacks and broken in the spines and have lent out their hardcovers to their friends, and now want something timeless on their shelf that perfectly captures one of their favorite series. And listen, I know I'm gonna get the comments saying that you shouldn't give this author any more money until he writes book 3. I get those on all my Kingkiller videos, but really, I think you should just let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. It doesn't make that big of a difference in the long run. So if you're a collector, if you're a longtime fan of the series, or if you just like it when publishers go the extra mile to make a really beautiful edition, this is the Kingkiller Chronicle set to own. Like I said, there is the more expensive Grim Oak Press editions if you want the full color artwork inside, and those are beautiful as well. They're probably more available than these ones, but personally, I just really love the originality of these editions, and these are definitely definitely my favorite Kingkiller editions out there. Anyways, let me know what you think of these editions in the comments. Do you own them? Are you trying to find them in the aftermarket? Also, let me know if you could design your own dream editions of one of your favorite series. What series would it be? Also, hidden update time. I actually have a few Kingkiller Chronicle theory videos that I've been thinking about recently, and I've been writing a bunch of notes down for them. So I think at some point this year, I'm gonna return to making some Kingkiller theory videos. It's been a really long time, but those were like the bread and butter of my channel for quite a while. So if any of you guys are looking forward to more Kingkiller content, then let me know, because yeah, there is a lot more theories I could make videos on. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see you soon.